Over the course of Xenoverse's history, there have been many mechanics that have actually been implemented and removed. A good example is that we lost Z assists and Z souls, and we got aura burst dash, limit burst, unique combo mechanics, and awoken skills. Based on the way things went for Xenoverse 1, we can actually pretty much tell what's going to be removed from Xenoverse 2 into Xenoverse 3, as well as what Xenoverse 3 is most likely going to implement, as we know the Dragon Ball Xenoverse series loves to not only invent new trends for Dragon Ball games to follow, but also follows trends from Dragon Ball games as well. Hello everybody, it's me again, Steve Doja here, back to more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and 3 information and more. Now, I want to talk about things in Xenoverse 2 that will 100% be removed when they get transferred over to Xenoverse 3, and I think I'm going to start with probably the easiest one to talk about, which is key charge, because key charge, as you guys would know, in Xenoverse 1 and 2 is done kind of horribly. The charge is a whole super attack slot. A good example in Xenoverse 1 and in 2, we have energy charge, full power charge, and maximum charge. And then we later got burst charge and ultimate charge, but it takes up a whole super attack slot just to charge ki. And obviously people have complained about this even since Xenoverse 1. It's kind of weird that charging up ki is its own super attack slot. Even in the older Dragon Ball games, it was never like this, so Xenoverse randomly just introduced this really annoying system out of nowhere. Because it's not like they were inspired by Tenkaichi 3 or Raging Blast or Ultimate Tenkaichi or Battle of Z to do this. They just randomly felt like doing this one day. And the reason why obviously this won't be in Xenoverse 3 is because 1, Xenoverse loves to follow the trends of the newer games, and as we know, Fighters, Kakarot, Sparking Zero, even Breakers has charging up not be its own separate slot. They're all just mechanics are universally built into the game. And the best example of this is the Ultra Instinct transformation in Xenoverse 2. As you guys would know, Ultra Instinct has many unique animations to it, or unique gimmicks and mechanics to it, such as, you know, the auto dodge, the changing of your ki blast type, and especially it's the first time a universal charge button has been implemented into any character in Xenoverse 2. Whether it's your favorite characters from Blue Gogeta to Beast Gohan to Ultra Instinct Goku, even the newest characters like, you know, Ultra Supervillain Frieza and DBS Transforming Broly, they all have charge buttons, but Ultra Instinct specifically has a mechanic where if you block and press the heavy attack button at the same time, you just charge ki, which is the first time we've ever had a button in the game that lets you charge up ki without it being dedicated to a super attack slot. Obviously, they're learning how to implement it, which means we're just going to be getting it from now on in future Dragon Ball games, or at least in future Xenoverse titles, because they now know, hey, wait a minute, this button is completely unused, just guard and heavy attack at the same time, and you could charge ki. So it at least means that they've learned that people don't like the fact that your whole super attack slot gets taken up, since their newest transformation literally has a button implemented for it. So I'm actually very glad to see that, because it's basically guaranteed now, right? In Xenoverse 3, there will not be super attacks to charge up, because they've just learned, hey, here's a free input that we can just use as a key charge button. So now every character from the first Goku you get in the game to the newest DLC character, which might be Moro or Granola or Gas or something, they won't have maximum charge. They'll just have a charge button, which is great because, you know, modern Dragon Ball games have reminded the Xenoverse devs that you could just have a charge button. Limit Burst. Limit Burst in Xenoverse 2 was only introduced because they were really inspired by the sparking mechanic in Dragon Ball FighterZ, but as you guys would know, Limit Burst in Xenoverse 2 not only aren't very well explored, but they're also universally hated by everyone. Nobody likes Limit Burst, nobody likes fighting Limit Bursts, nobody likes using them even for the unique mechanics they offer, such as increasing the damage of certain super and ultimate attacks, which again rarely gets used because Limit Burst was made as a defensive mechanic rather than as a mechanic that you could just use in general. So nobody really likes Limit Burst, universally hated. The benefits it does offer are super hard to implement. For example, if I wanted to increase the power of my Death Beam or my final Kamehameha or something, it'd be really hard to do that because the Limit Burst animation cannot be used offensively. It can only be used defensively. So it's just really, really annoying. And not to mention, the sparking mechanic overall has kind of just gone. Unless we get Dragon Ball FighterZ 2 or some other Dragon Ball game implements another sparking mechanic, we'll probably most likely not have it in Xenoverse 3. That just doesn't make any sense. Again, it was only in Xenoverse 2 because they're inspired by FighterZ, but FighterZ isn't the newest game anymore, so it's not going to show up in Xenoverse 3. Ki Blasts. Now, Ki Blast is a very controversial topic because we all know the only reason why people care about Ki Blast in Xenoverse 2 is exclusively to Ki Cancel. But overall, I just want to talk about how Ki Blast in the Xenoverse series in general just suck. I want to remind you that Ki Blast in Xenoverse 1 were just garbage. I can't remember a single instance of a Ki Blast being used effectively in Xenoverse 1. And I'm pretty sure in Xenoverse 1 too, you couldn't fire it out in a volley like you could in Xenoverse 2. Like you couldn't like spam multiple Ki Blasts back to back. I genuinely think you could only shoot one Ki Blast at a time, but you couldn't even cancel from it. It was just there. And in Xenoverse 2, regular Ki Blast, normal Ki Blast, they do so little damage, it's actually completely unreasonable why they are in the game, to the point where it makes people think that Ki cancelling is an actual mechanic in the game, when it's not, because Ki cancelling literally hurts the rest of the game, so it can't be a mechanic. Not to mention, the game's tutorial doesn't even teach you about it, even though it teaches you about stuff that they added later, like Limit Burst, so there's no excuse as to why Ki cancelling in the game. Charge Ki Blast, they have a function. Even Rush Ki Blast, which don't look like they do that much damage, they still have a purpose, they still have a use. Power Ki Blast, yes. Paralysis Ki Blast, obviously. Bomb Ki Blast, yes. Homing Ki Blast, sure. All of that's fine, all of that's dandy, but normal Ki Blasts don't do anything. It's not even like Sparking Zero or Tenkaichi 3, where you could shoot these out in a volley and still have really quick recovery, but they at least do damage. You can at least use them to pepper up enemies, or to like open like a combo opportunity for yourself without stunning them from the other side of the screen and leaving them with no options. I want to remind you, the stuns in Ki Blast in Xenoverse 2 are so bad, you can be behind someone and get hit by a Ki Blast that they're shooting forward. It's absolutely nonsense. So I expect him to do a full rework of Ki Blast, because again, even in games like Kakarot, Ki Blasts have a function, and that game has like mega giga planet-sized spirit bombs you can throw out. And then again, obviously Dragon Ball FighterZ, you know, hailing the screen of Ki Blast is a really good way to put pressure on an enemy to open them up for a combo or something. So I imagine Xenoverse 3 will use Ki Blast in a lot more intelligent way. It's not going to be like Xenoverse 1 where they're utterly useless, and it's not going to be like Xenoverse 2 where they're just brainlessly overpowered. I imagine they're going to find a good middle ground and probably just do what Sparking Zero fighters and Kakarot do, where it's just a good way to apply long-range damage without it being a big high-costing move like a Kamehameha or a Spirit Bomb or a Death Beam. It's just going to be a nice way to use up Ki to do long-range damage. Another mechanic I think that's going to get reworked is actually going to be the Aura Burst Dash mechanic. Now, Aura Burst Dash is basically just the usual Dragon Ball Z game chase down mechanic that we've had ever since the Dragon Ball Z games have had like a 3D perspective. I don't know, I guess you could say ever since Tenkaichi 2 properly is probably the best way, is probably the best time when that trend started. But Dragon Ball games usually have a chase down mechanic. A good example is that in Dragon Ball, Kakarot, if you charge up Ki and press dash at the same time, you just boost all the way to the enemy, right? In Sparking Zero, same thing. You just boost all the way to the enemy. Tenkaichi games, you boost all the way to the enemy. Fighters, you even have the Z dash mechanic, the super dash mechanic, my bad. I call it Z dash like the Fighters is a Dragon Ball Z game. You have the super dash mechanic, and even in, again, Dragon Ball The Breakers, you have dash mechanics where you just boost the way up to the enemy. Usually it's behind a super attack or a melee attack, but you do have an automatic dash that takes you towards the enemy. Xenoverse 2 has this as well with the Aura Burst Dash. The only difference with the Aura Burst Dash is that it had to be massively changed because the game was just in a really rough place. A good example is, you guys might remember, Aura Burst Dash was not completely invincible. It was just a good way to get all the way towards the enemy. It was the Reverse Burst Dash that was completely invincible, and it had to be so it could get around ultimate attacks to break enemy guards. But the punishment for it, or the downside for it, is that you were super open when you used it, right? So you could really only use it against a stationary target. However, Aura Burst Dash became completely invincible after a certain point in the game because the game was too laggy, so they were worried about you taking damage. So, okay, now it's completely invincible. And then they were like, oh, I don't know, man, it's still kind of weak. So let's make it so that you can use it all of the time without using up any stamina. So now you can use it when you're guard broken. And they didn't take into account that now you have an invincible mechanic that takes you from one side of the screen to the other side without any stamina being used. And you can use it when your stamina is broken. Meaning you could effectively punish enemies for trying to go for ultimate attacks like Super Spirit Bomb, Supernova Cooler, any ultimate attack that had like a decent amount of startup. You could just get up and be instantly invincible and punish your enemy for even daring to hit you with an ultimate attack, which is absolutely dumb because that was supposed to be the height of your weakness, but now it's going to be a way for you to turn a match around and just win for no reason other than the fact that the devs didn't take that into account. So Aura Burst Dash will most likely get reworked 100% to just be a regular like Dragon Ball Z dash mechanic where you just boost all the way to the enemy with no iframes. You're just really quick. Just like the Super Dash mechanic in Dragon Ball FighterZ, you'll probably just reflect a low-level Ki Blast that come your way, or ignore minor attacks that come your way, but obviously bigger, heavier attacks will affect you. Kind of just the way the Burst Dash was before, where you could be affected by things, at least not regular Ki Blast, but you could still be affected by things. And lastly, I want to talk about the transformations. Now, Xenoverse 2 transformations over the time have become very, very different. A good example is that we used to have the multi-stage transformations that used to have some differences and even variety in how they worked. Like we have the OG Super Saiyan form, so you can go all the way to Super Saiyan 3 that has the insane defense buff that Super Saiyan 1 and 2 don't have. And then we have Super Vegeta, which focuses more on Ki Blasts, but you can't reach Super Saiyan 3. They'll probably change that in Xenoverse 2, so that way you can get Super Vegeta free, and we know why. It's because of Daima. They also have Potential Unleashed, which has Great mechanics like getting ki back faster while also having stats similar to a Super Saiyan 2, but not as absurd as a Super Saiyan freeze, just to keep things balanced. Then obviously we had the Super Saiyan blue forms where you would obviously get massive stat increases, but mostly people use it for the insane stamina recovery. And then we have Super Saiyan God with the ridiculous ki recovery and the basic attack damage. And then we get unique things like Beast and Ultra Instinct, where they obviously have these unique mechanics. For example, Ultra Instinct has a universal charge button, auto dodge, counters, many unique things. And then Beast has the specific Beast combo, which is the highest damage combo in the game, even higher than Super Saiyan God, even though Super Saiyan God has a highest damage multiplier. But then that doesn't even stop there. Don't forget, we have Golden Form, Pure Forms, Giant Forms, the Nimbus. We even have Z Broly and Super Broly. So what I mean is that the revamp potential when it comes to the transformations from Xenoverse 2 to 3 could be absurd, because I want to remind you guys, we could get transformation animations as insanely beautiful as Beast and like transforming DBS Broly, but also get the new mechanical complexity that comes with those transformations. A good example is Dragon Ball Z Broly's combos change a lot when he transforms from his base to his Super Saiyan form, and DBS Broly's combos also change very differently. Like again, the ending of all of his combos is entirely different when he's in Super Saiyan rather than when he's in the wrathful state. But then this is also like not taking into account how unique the transformations themselves are. Not only do they look great, but transformations like DBS Broly's transformation animation actually have attack frames in them, so that way you hurt people in the middle of the transformation. Not like knock them back, you actively hurt people in the middle of the transformation animation, making it even really hard to counter, even if you don't use the unique transformation animation of using the evasive to then go Super Saiyan. So there's a lot of new things they could do, because I want to remind you guys, in Xenoverse 3, base form transformations like Goku going Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 3 could also have these unique mechanics. Is Goku's combo going to also change when he goes Super Saiyan? Are Vegeta's combo is going to change? Are his attack animations going to be different? Or is he going to do damage when he transforms? Is the same going to happen with Frieza? Because Frieza should be able to transform from his earlier forms into his later forms, because we have the Dragon Ball Breakers transformations animations, right? Like, the guy, this is all possible. They can take every Breakers transformation animation, apply it to the original villains, and then just spread out transformations across characters and change the animations, unique mechanics, and like damages and everything. Speaking of breakers, why are we even restricting ourselves to the Xenoverse 2 Kakarot style where all of your moves stay the same in the same transformation? They could easily do a Dragon Ball The Breakers or a Sparking Zero where the moveset changes with the form. Like, there's nothing stopping them, and again, Xenoverse is very inspired by the games around it. If Sparking Zero is making a ton of money and it's doing all of these things well, and you know, the devs are still supporting the game to this day, even with more free DLC updates, they could easily be like, hey, why don't we just have the characters' movesets change when they transform, but then still be able to de-transform them back to their, you know, their previous forms, their base forms, and then they just get the old moveset again. A good example is that if you pick Namek Goku, for example, you have the Namek Goku moveset, but the moment he goes Super Saiyan, his ultimate attack would maybe change to Break Energy Wave, Angry Kamehameha, you guys know what I mean. But then when you transform back, he would have Super Spirit Bomb again, or Large Spirit Bomb, because it's, you know, the Namek Saga, and Super Kamehameha. They would probably implement that. They can implement that. I want to remind you guys, Breakers has transforming movesets as well. First form Frieza's moveset is different to second form Frieza's. Third form Frieza's is different to second forms. Final forms is different. Golden forms is different. The same with all of Cell's forms. Majin Buu's as well. Broly's, both Broly's. Goku Black, they can do this. It's not just a Sparking Zero Tenkaichi exclusive thing. They can actually just do this for Xenoverse 3 as well. And I guarantee you, I think more people would prefer if they did it this way for Xenoverse, because it means that obviously by the time we get custom partners coming around, we can probably customize the transformations too. And I don't need to tell you guys how unbelievably hyped that would be. Either way, I think this is a pretty solid place to end the video. There was a lot more that came to mind as I was recording this than what I had originally planned to say, because this game honestly can have boundless potential with the amount of stuff that Xenoverse 2 has introduced. Again, Xenoverse 3 was originally supposed to come out much sooner. Dragon Ball The Breakers was supposed to be Xenoverse 3. If you guys don't remember that, then link in the description to the video that explains all of this, alright? But yeah, Dragon Ball The Breakers was originally supposed to be Xenoverse 3, which means most of the hard work that they've done was probably like they've already done it, right? Again, hair physics, transforming movesets, all of these unique gimmicks. They've already implemented it in not just Dragon Ball The Breakers, but in other Dragon Ball games. So it wouldn't be too crazy to say that they can re-implement those mechanics back into Xenoverse 3, or remove the stuff from Xenoverse 2 that drags that game down and, you know, it kind of hinders it from the greater potential it would have in its sequel. The same way they did with Xenoverse 1, they removed Z-Souls, they removed Z-Assists, they removed a bunch of mechanics like Infinite Kaioken, so they can make the game more balanced or healthier coming into Xenoverse 2. And I think, yeah, that's just a great place to end the video. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, then obviously, again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. I do love you all. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you fellas all next time. Take care, and peace, peace, peace. Bye-bye.